श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् श्रीशैलाभिजनाम्बुराशिशनं श्रीकृष्णतातात्मजं श्रीशैलान्वे देवनाथसुधीयप्राप्तागमान् तद्वयं पादाब्जे नरसिंहताते गुरोर्न्यस्तात्मरक्षाभरं विद्वद्वृन्दचकोरचन्दिरमहं रामानुजार्यं श्रये श्रीरङ्गसुधामधुसमास्वादयन्तं श्रीरङ्गमहिषीपदपङ्कजात्मजं सुलभाश्रयं सदा मोदसिद्धमद्भुतं भजेऽहं गुरुं तं रङ्गनाथप्रियं सुखासनस्थं हृदयाब्जपीठे चिन्मुद्रयालङ्कृतपाणिपद्मं शुभोपवीतं विमलोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रं नमामि रङ्गं गुरुम् अन्तरङ्गे नमामि योगसम्राज्ञीं विजयां विजयप्रदां श्रीरङ्गार्धासनासीनां करुणां मम मातरं गुरुरूपपरं ज्योतिः ज्योतिरूपगुरुः परः अज्ञानमन्दिरं ह्येतत् कुरुविज्ञानमन्दिरं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः सकृदेव प्रपन्नाय तवास्मीति च याचते अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यः ददाम्येतद्व्रतं मम मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. With salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus, will commence our session today. So in the last class, we had covered a lot of ground, isn't it? We were looking at one very important interpretation within a particular slokam. I just wanted to check if there is any other question that anybody wanted to ask before I proceed further. I may have missed anyone else who perhaps had a viewpoint, or you just wanted to comment. We were on sloka number 20. Viditaha sahi dharmajnaha Sharanagata vatsalaha tena maitri bhavatute yadi jivitum ichhasi. And this particular namam for Bhagavan, right? Namakaranam happened by Sakshat Virati herself as Sharanagata vatsalaha. Many acharyas take this word, and the full credit for that name goes to none other than Jagannathe herself. And it is to be noted here, it just struck my mind that, of course, by God's grace, this word called Vatsalaha, right, comes from the word Vatsalyam. And Vatsalyam, maybe you have to mute. Yeah. Vatsalyam is normally associated with how the cow fondles its just born calf. I think we may have to mute somebody. Anusha, you may have to do it. I can't do it. Yeah. இப்பதான் பிறந்த கண்ணுக்குட்டிய எப்படி தாய் பசுவானது அதனுடைய ஒரு ஸ்திதியை கவனிக்காத, I mean, it would have just fallen out as a calf. It doesn't matter that it is probably not in a clean shape, but how the cow fondles the calf needs to be seen. Anybody who has seen when a calf is born, probably will relate to it, that the very first thing that the cow will do is with all its love and affection, it has no legs or hands to clean the calf. So it will use its tongue to completely wipe the calf clean. It will not allow anybody else to come near that. This particular bhavam between the vatsa means the newly born calf, and its mother is known as vatsalyam. And the Lord does not mind whatever bad deeds we may have done. He ignores it completely and takes us into his fold. That is the meaning of this Vatsalya. And the reason why I believe Virati herself is using this word is, if we look at this slokam, Lakshmi Kshira Samudrarajataniyam Sriranga Dhameshwarim Dasi Bhuta Samastadeva Vanitam Lokaika Deepankuram. Right? Can anybody else complete this slokam? Shriman Manda Katakshalabdha Viva Brahmendra Gangadaram Tvam Tailokya Kuduminim Sarisijam Vande Mukunda Priyam. And Vatsalyadi Ishanam Jagadosya Venkadapate Vishnu Param Preyasim Tadvakshasthala Nityavasarisikam Takshanti Samvardinim Padma Alankata Pani Pallavigam Padma Sanastam Srim Vatsalyadi Gunojvalam Bhagavatim Vande Jagan Mataram. Jagan Mata, our first Atma Gunam, as Acharyas call it, is Vatsalya Adi Gunojvalam. There are two meanings for this word Adi. There are so many gunas of the Lord and his consort that you can never list them. They are endless. So the gunas start from Vatsalyam. That is one meaning, right? The other meaning is Vatsalyam. There are so many gunas that you could have given any other gunam as the first gunam. But among all gunas, the very first gunam you want to relate is Vatsalyam. Therefore, Jaganmata is the replica of Vatsalyam. No wonder she attaches that particular gunam of herself to this word. She could have called Sharanagata Priyaha, Sharanagata Supriyaha, okay, to go with the meter of this slokam. She didn't say that. Sharanagata Vatsalaha. So perhaps that is something we can attribute here. Sharanagata Vatsala Vidita Sahi Dharmagnaha Sharanagata Vatsalaha Tena Maitri Bhavatute Yadi Jivitu Michhasi. And this is not just to be adopted when we are in a state of fear or when we are in a state of dire needs, isn't it? Dina Pala, somebody who protects those who are in a terrible shape, isn't it? Is called Bhagavan. Is Sharanagati something to be done only when we are in such a state? Right? The answer to that is no. This is something that should be our true nature. Right? And that is how exactly it has been wired by Chaturmukha Brahma. The Jivatma is eternally bound to the Paramatma. And we have lost that contact. And we have forgotten our bondage or linkage with the Divine Lord. Therefore, as it is our true nature to reflect the Supreme Being, isn't it, in his real state, it is called Jnana Ananda Swarupam, isn't it? Satya Jnanam and Anandam. That true state is something the Lord has given as an attribute to the Jivatma also. It is not only something that the Lord sports as his attributes, but he has given that to the Jivatma also. Therefore, it is meet and proper that this principle called Sharanagati is adopted at all times, right? It is not only when we need him, we go and attach ourselves to him and forget him after that. That is something we should try to avoid. That's why it's called. So that is something to be noted. Tena maitri bhavatu te yadi jivitum ichchasi. So there was a point that Srini Siva, who is there on this call, he had mentioned as a private note to me. So maybe you want to mention that yourselves. I can elaborate a bit on that.
English.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this particular aspect of Srimad Ramayanam, there are many different aspects to look at it. One is, it is a book, it is a story, right? The other aspect is, it is a charitram, isn't it? Therefore, it is something which is an event, a series of events which have historically happened, itihasam, as we say. The other important dimension to look at is that it is a tattvartham. The truths, eternal truths, are embedded as part of Srimad Ramayana. Therefore, you may find other texts like Adhyatma Ramayanam, which start giving life to different characters as different tattvas embedded in our body, right? The Dashagriva Ravana, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to Hanuman. Dashagriva Ravana is nothing but the Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, right? They all start dancing in their own manner, and they make us forget the link with the Supreme Being. Likewise, Hanuman is the Buddhi Tattvam, right? Sita Pirati is the Jiva Tattvam, and Lord Ramachandra is the Purusha Tattvam. So, and there is a very nice way of threading this whole journey in such a manner that you don't feel you are left out of the history. It is not only his story, but it is something which can be woven to your today's life, right? You can weave it into your today. In that context, what Srini mentioned is probably one of the reasons why Sita Mata could contain herself and maintain her poise. So as we have seen in the Bhagavad Gita, that there are two ways of reaching the Lord. What is that? You follow the path of Ashtanga Yogam. What is that? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayamam, Pratyaharam, Dharanam, Dhyanam, and Samadhi. You climb those ladders as a true sadhaka, right? As somebody who is a seeker of the Supreme Being. In which case, you have to be very, very careful. You have to be guided by a guru, right? And Guruve Pathirkanam. Our Pakalanaka, Ning our Puchin Purangana, it will become a big issue later on. But it is important in that context that you are extremely able to control yourself. That means you will be able to sense where the indriyas are going, right? Yato nischarati, right? Tatastataha, you have to bring the mind back into control. So there's an extreme caution that one has to exercise. And so that is something not easy for ordinary mortals to do. The other way is to do Sharanagati in a manner that you think of the Guru, right? You don't worry about the Indriyas and the way that they are leading you away from the Lord, right? Don't worry about Indriyas, Manas, etc. Just focus that part of the Manas which still is listening to you, right? Try to focus on the Divine Lord or the Guru. Then what happens? Then you will automatically be taken towards it. So there's an analogy that Srini gave. One is the thing that Acharya's kataksham is required. That here Hanuman, you can think of him as the Acharyan. He is looking at Sita Mate. Therefore, she gets that ability to focus on the Divine Lord. And that is Ramachandra. As she is focused on him, she doesn't have to worry about anything and her needs are addressed there. So this is definitely a a good way of looking at it in the spirit of Adhyatma Ramayanam. However, if you want to interweave it with the reality of the story or the charitram that happened, as well as Pirati's own state, we are going to see shortly in this Sargam that she is also a Vibhuti. She is not to be seen as a Jivatma. She is somebody who has equal rights and equal abilities. And she, in fact, goes on to say later on how powerful she is. So the aspect of being in a state of constant remembrance of her divine Lord, her Pati. So she is so lucky that her Pati is Paramatma, isn't it? நம்மளுடைய புருஷனை பத்தி யோசிச்சோன்னா நம்ம மனசு வேற எங்கேயோ போயிடும் இல்லையா? So the holiness comes automatically with the Vibhuti Purusha, that is Lord Sri Ramachandra. However, on her own stance, she can actually take care of herself. That is something we have to kindly note here. Of course, the analogy is very neat and proper from the aspect of Adhyatma Ramayanam. And we will also see later on that Hanuman himself, this particular event happened, what we are seeing in this Sargam, probably happened many times before, right? Even before Hanuman landed. So she is able to keep her poise for quite a long time. So it is not just Hanuman who has influenced her, is another aspect we can make note of there. Third is Hanuman himself tries to get inspiration from Sita Mata. So she becomes the Acharyan. In fact, there is a reversal of roles that we would like to suggest. So in fact, she is asking Ravana himself to surrender to Ramachandra, right? He is a Sharanagata Vatsala, Godu Maitri. So which means she is, who can be an Acharya? Only that person who knows the reality. She is not saying Sharanagata Vatsala just like that. No, she knows who Lord Ramachandra is. She knows what the eternal benefits that Ravana will get if he goes and falls at his feet, right? And most importantly, she has practiced it herself and seen it. That is why she is an Acharya. All these are very important. புஸ்தகத்தை வச்சுட்டு என்ன மாதிரி இப்படியே சொல்லிட்டே இருந்தாக்கா ஆச்சாரியன் ஆயிட முடியாது. You need somebody who practices it in true spirit, and therefore that tejas emanates from that adoption of various procedures. So therefore she herself is இப்படிலாம் பண்றாளேன்னு ஆஞ்சநேயருக்கு ஒரு இது வந்துடும். His bhakti towards the Jaganmata will increase. So these are the comments we just wanted to offer, Srini. But it is a brilliant interpretation, which I think in the spirit of Adhyatma Ramayanam is certainly something to note for, as a true guru for ordinary mortals like us. Hanuman is somebody without whose gaze he is called as the Haridwaram, meaning he stands as the guardian for anybody who wants to enter the inner realms of Ayodhya. Without his purification, right, we cannot build a Ram temple in our hearts. So he is a real guru. He is a Haridwara. And avaruடைய கட்டாட்சம் இருந்ததுன்னா all the bad deeds, பாப்பங்கள் எல்லாம் கட்டாயம் போகும். So therefore, all the aspects of the analogy hold good for everybody. Just only thing is Sita Mata is slightly at a higher pedestal. So that is the only thing I wanted to relate. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other points from anybody else? Good to see you, Dr. Ravi. And
morning.
Morning.
நீங்க அந்த வாத்சல்யம் பத்தி சொன்னேன். I wanted to say all mothers we have seen, because I was fortunate that we carried out a lot of deliveries during house urgency, during our anesthetic training. And அந்த வாத்சல்யத்தை எல்லா மதர்ஸ் மூஞ்சிலையும் நாங்கள் பார்த்துருக்கோம். மேபி ராதா will say, because she also is an Orthodox. அது வந்து நம்ம அதுக்கு தான் எல்லா I wanted to give credit to all the mothers here. So that's what I wanted to tell. அதான் கரெக்டான டைம்ங்கிறதுனால சொல்றேன்.
Thank you, thank you. You made it a Mother's Day today. There is indeed, kuputro jayeta kvachidapi kumata na bhavati, as the Shastras say. There could be a ill-gotten child, but there can never be a mother who is a kumata, isn't it? It can be any jiva, right? It can be a lizard, it can be a cat, it can be a dog, it can be a human being. That mother's vatsalyam, as you rightly pointed out, is something that is amazing, isn't it? And it goes for all mothers. Perhaps the reason why this vatsa is suited for the calf, this is something that is kind of extraordinary among all mothers. I'm sorry to take the credit away from human mothers. This kind of feeling to, lick its own child and keep it clean, it comes, outpours so naturally to a cow. That is the reason why it is called Vatsalyam. But that same divine feeling, I give the credit back to all mothers. It comes through to human mothers too. Okay. So thank you. Thanks for bringing that aspect out. It's good to know there are so many learned people here. I should be very careful about biology, physics, chemistry, etc. Okay. So let's move on from this slokam. Yes. Prasadayasvatvam chainam sharanagata vatsalam mam chasmai prayato bhutva niryatayitum arhasi. So Pirati is giving one more clue here in the previous slokam. She is saying Vidita Sahi Dharma. See, Ramachandra is known to the whole world as a Dharmagnya, right? And he is a Sharanagata Vatsala. Therefore, go do Maitri with him. In this slokam, she is saying, Tvam Sharanagata Vatsalam Yenam Prasadayasva. Go and please him. Okay? Prasadam is the Atlapanna Prasadata poi kondu kudukkradhu kedaiyadhu. Prasadam அப்படின்னு எந்த வேர்ட்ல இருந்து வருதுன்னா பிரசன்னத்தை உண்டு பண்றது பிரசாதம். That which pleases us is called prasadam. Okay, so please keep this in mind. Before offering anything to the Lord, we call it as naivedyam, that which is niveditam. Okay, Sister Nivedita, that we offer to the Lord is called naivedyam. Okay, அதில் நெய் போட்டு சாதம் போடுறோம்னு நினைக்க கூடாது. தமிழ் சான்ஸ்கிரிட்டையும் சரியான இடத்துல குழப்பக்கூடாது. நைவேத்தியம், right? That which is niveditam. After nivedanam, right? Depending on who is giving to whom. Okay, very, very important. And how. The nivedanam, the naivedyam becomes a prasadam. Okay. So there is an act which is mentioned in the Agama Shastras as to how do you offer things. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. Yome, fill it up. This is in Bhagavad Gita. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. Yome bhaktya prayachati. Tadaham bhaktyupakritam ashnami priyatatmanaha. If you offer, right, patram, a leaf, pushpam, flower, right? Patram, pushpam, phalam, fruits or water, right? Not as a matter of indriyas giving to a photograph or a murti, isn't it? It has to be offered with true bhakti. Then what happens? The rasayanam that you have made to the divine Lord, it gets filled with amrita tattvam then and there. Tadaham bhakti upahritam ashnami priyatatmanaha. I will partake of it with all my soul. And when the divine Lord eats something, that really becomes prasadam, prasannate. When you partake of that naivedyam after the aradhanam, then it pleases not only the indriyas. Okay, it does not stop there. The aspect of divinity that gets embedded into that naivedyam will make you to go into a state of Dhyanam. That is the true nature, right? Ya pritihi muni patni bhakti rachiteti atra pitam tam kuru. Right? The way that the Muni Patnis, they treated Lord Krishna. We all know this episode in Srimad Bhagavatam, isn't it? He runs away from the Munis, disappears, and goes into the kitchens of the Muni Patnis, who don't need anything else. They don't need to learn the Vedas, right? The Vedangas, etc. They only need to show that pure bhakti to the Lord. When that is shown, whatever is a Naivedyam becomes a Prasadam. So therefore, Prasadayasva, although she is using just one word, it is not easy. How do you propitiate the Lord, isn't it? We need to do a lot of Kainkaryam. In Karavani, what should I do to you? That is when Kainkaryam or Kainkarya Sri comes to you. So go and propitiate him. Niyataha bhutva mam asmai miryataitu marhasi. You owe to return me back to him, right? That is something that I would recommend to you right away, as whether you take me as your Acharya or not, I am in that sthanam and I am telling this to you. You better go and do it, right? I'm sorry. In my train, I have lost the ragam for the shlokas. Can anybody remind me? Something else is going on in my mind. Yeah.
Mamstasmai prayato bhutva.
Thank you.
Evam hi te bhavet swasti.
Evam hi te bhavet swasti sampradaya raghuttame anyatha tvam hi kurvano vadham prapsyasi ravana. Very interesting twist she is giving. Acharyana, samadana, bhedam, dandam. She is trying to tell him all the good words in the right spirit. Right? If you don't follow this, what will happen? She is illustrating now. Evam raghuttame sampradaya. In this manner, right? Treat me with all divinity. Go and tell him, I am really sorry. I have been an adhamatma. I should not have done this to you and to Sita Mata. Please save me. I surrender to you. This is all that is required. And then everything else will be taken care. Sampradaya, te swasti bhavet. All good will happen to you. Su asti is called swasti. Okay. Ravana, tvam anyatha kurvanaha vadham prapsyasi. She goes on to take the role of Rudrani. Okay. So we should remember that whenever the Lord comes, it is not just Mahavishnu who descends. He brings along with him his retinue, right? He brings along with him Chaturmukha Brahma. He brings along with him Lord Shiva in the form of Rudra, right? That Raudra Rasam, right, comes towards the Yuddha Kandam. Without Raudram, there can be no demolition or destruction. He brings along with him. Likewise, Jagannmate also brings with her the spirit of Jnana Saraswati as well as Durga, isn't it? So here she is taking the role of Raudram, or as Durga Mata. She is saying, you will definitely be vanquished, right? Vadham prapsyasi. That is something she is telling him. Varjayet vajramutsrishtam varjayet antakaschiram tvadvidham tu na sankruddho lokanathas saragavaha. Very interesting slokam again. Tvadvidham utsrishtam vajram varjayete. If Indra were to, send you the Vajraidham to try and kill you, it is possible that the Vajraidham may miss you. Okay? That is what she is saying. Or Chiram Antakaha Varjayete. Antakaha is Lord Yama, one who destroys everything, especially brings forth the aspect of removing the jiva from the body. He is called as an Antaka. even he may miss his target. Okay. However, what will not happen? Sankruddhaha Lokanathaha Saha Raghavaha Na. If at all Lord Raghava Ramachandra, he gets into a state of anger, remember, there is no escape for you. So how powerful this statement is, right? So, Om Indra Yanamaha, Om Yama Yanamaha, abdin nama homatla solluvom. Because these are the lords who are kind of overlords of other gods. Okay. So that is what we need to keep in mind. Indra is the ruler of Agni, right? Vayu, Surya, etc. Likewise, Yama is also the controller of many other gods. So she is now giving one more proof who Lord Ramachandra is, right? Om Bhishasmad Vatah Pavate Bhishodeti Suryah Bhishasmad Agnischendrascha. Quoting from the Upanishads. With fear, right? The wind god moves. With fear to him, right? Surya rises from the east, etc. So that is the Lord who we are talking about. All others may lose their targets, but not Lord Ramachandra's anger the moment it turns towards you. Ramasya dhanusha shabdam sroshyasi tvam mahasvanam shatakrutu visrishtasya nirghoshamashaneliva. So she gives back that credit to Indra. Okay. முதல் ஸ்லோகத்துல இந்திரனை கொஞ்சம் தப்பா சொல்லிட்டான்றதுக்காக probably she is correcting it. Indra is obviously her own child. Shatakratu Visrishtasya, the Vajraidam or Ashani. Ashani is thunderbolt. Okay. That which Shani, Ashani. Shani na meduva podu, Shani is charaha. That which moves very, very slowly. 7.5 looks like 750, right? But Ashani is something which is Shighram, that which moves very, very fast, is lightning, right? So that is how Indra's Vajraidam will be. Shatakratu Visishtasya Ashanehe Nirghoshamiva, just like the Ghosham that you hear from the Vajraidam. Likewise, Ramasya Dhanushaha Mahaswanam Shabdam Tvam Sroshyasi. You will definitely hear the twang that comes from the divine bow and arrow of Lord Ramachandra. That is what she is cautioning Ravana here. Iha shighram suparvano jwalitasya ivoragaha ishavo nipatishyanti Rama Lakshmana Lakshanaha. So she moves down from Indra's loka now back to Bhulokam. She remembers her close brother-in-law in this slokam, isn't it? Suparvanaha Shighram Jwalitasyaha Uragaha Iva. See, Suparvanaha means this, they have these arrows which are all very well maintained. Okay. Any army, if you see today, and the weapons la nanna maintain pannom. Appadina daily or nallanna or thuni eduthu thodachinde irukanum. That is when they will all be well oiled and well maintained. And the madri, the arrows are all so sharp and well maintained. Shighram Jwalitasyaha Uragaha Iva. They will all come out like poisonous snakes. What are they? Rama Lakshman Lakshanaha Ishavaha. The arrow, Ishavana, arrows coming from Rama and Lakshmana. They will never miss their target. Okay. Nipatishyanti. They will start raining here. Abdin solraringa. Rakshamsi Parinighnantaha Puryamasyam Samantataha Asampatam Karishyanti Patantaha Kankavasasaha. They will start raining so much. Kankavasasaha. There is a bird called Kanka bird, apparently. And just like probably in those days, there were birds which were very large, huge, as you see in the animated movies today, isn't it? So Patantaha Asyam Puryam, they will fall all over this city. Okay. Rakshamsi Parinighnantaha, all your Rakshasas, your own colleagues, they will all fall aside. Asampatam Karishyanti, they will cover all over the city, meaning this Lankapuri will no more resemble the great city that you are looking at right now. Rakshasendra Mahasarpan Sarama Garudo Mahan Uddharishyati Vegena Vainate Ivoragan. Mahan Saha Ramagarudaha. Right? A very interesting word Pirati is using. Right? She is comparing Rama to Garuda. Okay? Mahan Saha Ramagarudaha Rakshasendraha Mahasarpane Vainateyaha Uraganiva Vegena Uddharishyati. Just like Garuda, he swiftly catches hold of many serpents. In a similar manner, Rama will kill all the demon leaders here. Your own army of Rakshasas, they will all be vanquished in one go by the Rama Garuda. Apaneshyati mam bharta tvatta shighramarindamaha asurebhya shriyam deeptam vishnustribhirivakramaihi. Right? Shighram arindamaha. Arindam is somebody who can vanquish his enemies or control his. Dama means control. Arindamaha. And bharta mam tvattaha. So he is my husband. He is going to take away me from you very soon. Okay. Vishnuhu, she is giving the analogy here. Vishnuhu tribhi kramaihi deeptam shriyam asurebhya apaneshyati. Just like the way that the divine Lord came down as Vamana avataram, right? He became a Trivikrama, took 3 strides, and he took away all the wealth of the Asuras in such a similar manner, right? So she is comparing. So she is dropping one more hint who Lord Ramachandra is. Okay, he is a Vishnu's avataram. This particular sargam is very important to demonstrate the avatara tattvam of Lord Ramachandra. Janasthane hatasthane nihate rakshasam bale ashaktena tvaya rakshaha kritame tadasadhuvai. Now she is reminding him of the bad deeds that he has done, right? Janasthane hatasthane rakshasam bale nihate. So in the earlier episodes, right, Khara, Dushana and others were all killed. An army of 14,000 Rakshasas, I think, right? They were all they were all killed in a place called Janasthanam. And this Janasthanam is considered as today's Nashik. Okay. And where we see Panchavati, Godavari's Ugamasthanam, a great Punyakshetram. There is a Triambakeshwara Sannidhi there. We have been there with my father once. It's a very nice place to be in. We have seen Panchavati. It's a beautiful place for pilgrimage. Maybe if we get time, we can go at some point in our lives there. So there are really the Panchavatis, 5 vatis there. It is called Janasthanam, also called as Nasik due to Surpanaka. We all know her nose was she was defaced there, isn't it? So it's called Nasik. Nasik means nose. But in that place, Pirati is reminding him that you left all your Rakshasas at the mercy of my husband. He killed all of them. Okay. So ni emmatram. There are so many of them he killed. Remember that. And you became an immobilized or an Ashakta Purusha. At the same time, you have done something really wrong. You have pulled me away from him. Asadhu. So the one fact is, you have thought that your Rakshasas will win over Ramachandra, and you kept quiet, but all of them died. Okay. So you could not even protect your own Rakshasas. Right? I know your abilities. Ashramam tu tayo shunyam pravishya narasimhayoho gocharam gatayor bhratroho apanita tvaya dhama. You are able to take me away from the ashrama, right? Simply because the Narasimhas, right? That is another word she is using, right? Abhyashinchan naram vyaghram prasannena sugandhina. It comes in the Pattabhisheka Sargam. Nara vyaghram or Narasimham, right? They are lion among men. That is the word who is the Narasimhayoho, Rama and Lakshmana. She is using the Dvandva Samasam. Okay. ரெண்டு பேரும் ஈக்குவலா சிம்மம். ஏன்னா we should see that it's விஷ்ணோஹோ அவதாரங்கள் தானே. அவர் கூட வந்தவா எல்லாருமே அவருடைய அம்ச அவதாரம் தான். So there is nothing wrong. It is meet and proper to call both of them as Narasimhas. So you came down to an ashrama where there is nobody, especially my husband and his brother, and then you took me away, and that is something which cannot be admonished. Okay, it's a adhama. You have become a nicha. Nahi gandhamupagraya Rama Lakshmanayostvaya. I'll complete this sargam. Shakyam sandarshane sthatum shunashardhulayoriva. If at all, nahi gandham upagraya Rama Lakshmanayostvaya. If at all Rama and Lakshmana were to catch hold of the scent of Ravana around them, right? Shakyam sandarshane sthatum shuna shardhulayoriva. You will not be anywhere in the scene. Escape அப்படின்னு ஓட வேண்டியதுதான் அப்படின்னு சொல்றா, right? Shuna shardhulayoriva. Just like the when a tiger smells the dog, right? What will happen to the dog? It will start shuddering and it will start to run away. That will become your state. Okay, if at all Rama and Lakshmana were to sniff that somebody called as Ravana is around them. So she is slowly ascending her status, right? From Samadhanathlende Veda Dandathoda Uchikku poita Pirati. Look at how she is now ingraining the aspect of fear in Ravana. This is something we should all take note, you know. Nari Abala abdin சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா? But the Abala is only physical. This causes mental trauma. We'll see in the next sargam, as well as spiritual trauma. Okay, that is something ladies can still inflict. We all know about it, isn't it, gentlemen? But they are capable of extreme aspect of tapas, and through that tapas anything can happen. Okay, so let's be all careful about this. Okay, but Pirati is showing her way here. She is actually instilling that sense of fear. பாருங்க, ராவணன் பார்த்தாலே பயங்கரமா இருக்கும். அடுத்த சர்க்கத்துல மறுபடியும் வால்மீகி பாவம் அப்படி கேமராமன் இப்படி பார்த்துட்டு திரும்புவா இல்லையா? So he will once again start describing Ravana in the next sargam. அப்பேற்பட்ட ராவணனை பார்த்துட்டு எல்லாருக்கும் பயம் வந்துடும், రైట్? ఇంత పెద్ద రావణుడా అని చూసి మనసులో కష్టం, భయం వచ్చేస్తుంది. కానీ సీతామాతకి అది రాలేదు. She just looked at him and she knew what is going to happen. She is a Dirghadarshi. That is another thing we should keep in mind. So she is saying that you will definitely be in a sorry, pitiable state. Like Shuna Shardhulayariva. Tasyate vigrahetabhyam yugagrahanamasthiram vritasye vendra bahubhyam bahorekasya nigraha. Tasyate tabhyam vigrahe. If they come to battle with you, right, or a war with you, you will not be able to withstand in that battle. The analogy she is giving is just like Indra killed Vritrasura, right? Indro dadhicho astabhihi vritranya pratishtitah jagananavatirnava. This comes in the Udakashanti mantras. There's a very big story about how Indra was able to kill Vritrasura and how he actually created a Vajrayudham. That the Vajrayudham was created from a rishi, Dadhichi. அவருடைய அஸ்தியில்தான் the Vajrayudham உண்டானது. All devas go and do a prarthana to that rishi, and with great compassion that rishi goes into a state of samadhi and leaves the body, and his bones have that power of a Vajrayudham. He uses that as his ayudham and kills Vritrasura. In a similar manner, you will encounter death very, very soon. Okay. Kshipram tavasanatho me Rama Saumitrina saha toyam alpamivadityaha prananada adasyate sharaihi. So very, very quickly, Kshipram, he is my Natha, Jagannatha, Lord Ramachandra, accompanied by Saumitri, isn't it? Vatatmaja Saumitri, isn't it? Vatatmaja Saumitri Vainateya Ripumardana. Right? Vatatmaja. Even there, Tyagaraja first calls Vatatmaja, which is Hanuman. So, Me Natha, he will come and Adityaha Alpam Toyamiva Sharehi. Just like the sun god takes away drops of water and makes the place dry. In a similar manner, the arrows that come from Rama and Lakshmana will kill you instantaneously. Girim Kuberasya Gatothawalayam Sabham Gato Va Varunasya Rajnah Asamshayam Dasharather Namokshase Mahadrumaha Kalahato Shaneriva Kalahataha Kuberasya Girim Va Alayam Gataha Rajnah Varunasya Sabham Gatova. So you may go, Kubera is apparently the brother of Ravana. Okay, that is why he was able to usher up the Pushpak Vimanam and everything. Right? So even if you go to Kubera's mountain, apparently Kailasam, okay, or the residence of King Varuna, which is ocean, you may try to go and hide yourself in the oceans, right? You will not escape the arrows of Rama and Lakshmana. Just like the analogy is, Ashani Pataklende, Mahadrumaha cannot escape. Just like a tree cannot escape from lightning, isn't it? Lightning varde, shall I escape? Or in a tree move mudiyade. The tree cannot escape the lightning. In a similar manner, you will encounter death instantaneously. Right? Ityashte Srimad Ramayane Valmiki Adikave Chaturvimshasastikayam Samhitayam Sundarakande Ravana Trinikaranam Nama Ekavimshas Sarga. The Trinikaranam is accomplished. She has made him like a grass. And the Bhayata Urvakite அவனை வந்துட்டு அவனோட ஸ்டேட்டஸ் அவன் மைண்ட்லேயே டவுட் வர ஆரம்பிச்சான். தட் இஸ் தி இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் ஆஃப் திஸ் சர்க்கம். இல்லை ஸ்டாப் ஃபார் சாரி ஐ ஓவர் ஷார்ட் பை 8 minutes.
Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsarada Chiradbhava Mukta Guru Charanambuja Krishna Krishna Sendriya Manasa Niyamadevam Rakshasi Nija Hridayastam Devam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate
कायेन वाचा मनसा इन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्या आत्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सर्वं श्रीरामचन्द्रार्पणमस्तु. Have a great day and a week ahead. Thank you.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Thank you, Raghavanji.